Not too long ago, we did a video about guns from COD history that the community didn't like, but I actually personally really enjoyed using. And in the comments of that video, there were several of you, yes, I read every single comment, that asked for the total opposite, which I think could be a really fun topic. So welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Today, this video is dedicated to everyone who's ever said that I don't read the comments, because these are going to be the 20 guns that the community loved, but I actually hated. So you guys let me know if you've ever been out of sync with the COD community like I have. Drop a like on the video. And at number 20, the Vector CRB in COD Ghost. I always loved the Vector in classic COD, like Modern Warfare 2. And yeah, Black Ops 2 too. But the Ghost version, it was different from those. I mean, it was different from the ones that I liked, and I just don't think it was nearly as good or fun to use. The old school Vector would have that low damage, but in return it had that high fire rate and had that super low recoil pattern. The Ghost version fired significantly slower with higher damage in return. Yes, it evened out the TTK, but it also wasn't nearly as fun to use. For some perspective, the classic Vector always fired at around 1100 rounds per minute. The Ghost version, 759 for me. That just took all the fun out of the gun, sucked it right out of it, and I didn't see any reason to use it over the MTAR-X. A lot of people love this Vector. I'm not sure why, but it is what it is. Before we move on, guys, do me a favor. The pinned comment and the top link in the description take you straight to more Chaos Gaming. That is our Chaos Gaming channel, where we are covering the latest news, leaks, rumors of all the big upcoming games. We just crossed 10,000 subscribers over there. It's growing really fast. I would love to see you guys over there. At number 19, the Spaz 12 in Black Ops. It's hard not to love the Spaz, but I didn't understand the love of this one. Yes, semi-auto, but it also had a bad habit. It was a hit marker machine. You would constantly be getting caught in your reload animation. If you wanted a consistent shotgun, you would just use the stakeout. Yes, the Spaz was way better than the HS-10 and the Olympia, but that's not saying anything at all. This was nowhere near the best Spaz 12 in COD history. Wasn't even close to being the best shotgun in that game. At number 18, oh boy. The MSR in Modern Warfare 3 2011. Now, this might just be because I was never much of a quickscoper, but I'm going to say it. The L118A was better? I mean, I could see why the more aggressive snipers like the MSR, but I was a fan of the L. I thought it was smoother. I thought it was reliable. And as somebody who used snipers more methodically and traditionally, that means I wasn't very good with them, so I camped. I just thought it was a better pick. Again, I'm not saying the MSR was bad. Of course not. I don't understand why people liked it as much as they did, but okay, it's a personal choice here. At number 17, the PPSH in COD World War II. As someone who absolutely fell in love with the PPSH in World at War, I didn't like the COD World War II version, regardless of how powerful it was. A lot of people loved this one because it was smooth. It was far and away the best SMG in the game on launch day, but it was also absolutely nothing like the World at War version, and I just couldn't get past it. It fired slowly, the firing sound wasn't very cool, and I just didn't feel like a boss with a meat grinder the way I did back in the WA days. You may say I'm too much of a stick in the mud when it comes to COD nostalgia, but COD World War II was literally sold on nostalgia for the Golden Age games. So I think it's fair for me to be disappointed in this. At number 16, hot take, the Commando in Black Ops. Look, I get why people love the gun. Heck, I had fun with it. But out of all the full auto rifles in the original Black Ops, this was the one I used the least. The heavy hitters, the FAMAS, the Galil, which, man, I love the Galil. And there was others, the AUG, the AK-47, which I also loved. And of course, my best friend, the Underdog, the Infield. Then there was the Commando, which I just never really felt the need to equip over all the others. I never got attached. Longtime viewers know how much I love the Galil and the Infield as my go-to all-rounder rifles in the game. I mean, if I wanted a bullet hose rifle, I would use the AUG. I would use the FAMAS. I just never really picked up the Commando that much. I used it, but I don't think it was the best. At number 15, the MV4 in Infinite Warfare. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure if people actually like this gun or if they just used it because it was the meta weapon. You can let me know in the comment section, but either way, I didn't like it. I avoided it. This gun may have been absolutely everywhere, but it was not in my hands. I didn't have fun with it, and I like to have fun with my guns in Call of Duty. It was a boring gun to use in the game. I mean, it was. In a game that was as far out and crazy as Infinite Warfare, this game had laser guns, special abilities, jetpacks, and then this bland, boring, overpowered thing that everybody was using. Yes, the gun was good. Yes, it was the meta for a reason, but it was boring. That's actually a major reason why I dropped Infinite Warfare as quickly as I did. I didn't want to have to use the MP4 just to keep up with everybody. At number 14, the ICR-1 in Black Ops 3. Now, this wasn't the most popular version of the ICR in COD history, but it was definitely, it was popular enough. It had a big following because it had no recoil. It was fun to be able to just point and click on people with the gun. Time to kill always made me feel like I was a step behind everybody else, though. I was a Man of War user from day one, and it was really tough to go from a beefcake rifle like the Man of War to something as weak as the ICR. And yes, I know the whole appeal of the gun was the accuracy, but I'm perfectly happy to sacrifice some accuracy for the sake of a faster time to kill. And since we're talking about the ACR one more time, double up, double up. At number 13, the ICR 7 in Black Ops 4. Again, extremely accurate, but slow time to kill. So it was really easy to hit your shots, but you had to hit a lot of shots in order to drop somebody, and that was the trade-off that I wasn't willing to make, especially in Black Ops 4. The ICR felt like it needed 10 to 20 shots, literally, which to me, that was annoying. It's not like the other rifles in the game had particularly high recoil. You had the KM57, you had the Rampart, they would kill way faster. They only kick slightly more than the ICR, so why would you choose it? Just hold the stick down a little bit, you'll be fine. At number 12, gonna get some hate for this one. Thompson in World at War. I mentioned in a video not too long ago that this gun really wasn't that good, and I'm here to stand by that statement right now. The Thompson was pretty clearly the worst SMG in World at War, and yet super popular because it was the Thompson. Amazing sound effects, yes. Great feedback, you betcha. But honestly, I didn't like it. I never felt the need to use it. People really liked to use it too, to the point they were using it over the PPSH and MP40, despite knowing full well that it was statistically worse than both. But you know what? I really don't understand that. I never liked the World at War Thompson. I never understood the people who did. Why weren't you using the MP40? Why weren't you using the PPSH? Even the Type 100. I understand the Thompson sounded really cool. But with how much worse it performed than the other SMGs, who cares how it sounded? Since I'm being a hypocrite here because I like the sound of guns too. Yeah. Anyway, since we're talking about World War II era guns, at number 11, the PPSH in Black Ops 3. Now, this version of the PP has always been seen as one of the best in the community, but I don't get it. Added to supply drops quite some time after the game came out. It was actually one of the first PPSHs to be in COD multiplayer in a long, long time. Fired noticeably slower than the World at War version, which was a massive strike against it in my book. And even though a lot of people really liked it, I didn't understand the hype. Other SMGs in the game kill quicker. And it's not like this version of the PPSH really captured the spirit of the old school versions. It didn't sound like a meat grinder, so therefore, why would I use it? And I just got done dogging the sound of a gun and using it in the last one. I'm canceled. At number 10, the Peacekeeper in Black Ops 3. Another example of a BO3 remake that I didn't understand the hype around. The original Peacekeeper, I get it. It was amazing back in Black Ops 2. But the Black Ops 3 remake didn't hit. It was trying to be a hybrid of AR and SMG, of course, just like the original. While it technically did fit that role, Black Ops 3 was also a jetpack game, so a gun like this didn't really stand out that much anymore. The movement options in the game were crazy. Didn't really need a hybrid gun like this in order to fill the multiple roles at once. Also, am I crazy, or did the firing sound in BO3's sound kind of bad compared to BO2's version? I'm sure I'm the minority here. I just didn't like it. I didn't think it did the original justice, which usually sets me off. At number 9, the FAL OSW in Black Ops 2. The semi-auto monster, completely banned from competitive play, one of the most popular guns in Black Ops 2, insane 2-shot kill range, 0 recoil, I know. I didn't like it, and here's why. First of all, I just prefer using full auto rifles, and there was a lot of great full auto rifles in the game, but second of all, I kind of felt dirty. I felt dirty using it. Black Ops 2 FAL was broken in most situations, and being able to instantly delete somebody with the speed that this thing had, I don't know. I understand why everybody thought it was amazing, because it was amazing. I just didn't like using it personally. I felt kind of icky gross using it. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. At number 8, the MP5 in COD 4. It was iconic, especially the suppressed version that was used in the crew expendable mission, yes. But in multiplayer, I was convinced that people were just using it because it looked cool. There was way better options with close range guns in COD 4. And yet people were spamming it like it was the best thing in the world. Why would you not use the AK-74U? Why would you not use the P90? I didn't really see the love for the MP5 outside the campaign in COD 4. And don't get me wrong, campaign version of it, amazing. Multiplayer, not so much. I mean, I was a solid 7.4U fanboy in this game. At number 7, the MP5 in Modern Warfare 2019. I know this game wasn't my cup of tea, so maybe I'm just bitter about the MP5 being so popular, but that's not to say I didn't try to like it. I did put a decent amount of time into Modern Warfare before I gave up, and during that time, I never really understood this gun. The hype. The animations were cool. I'll never deny it sounded amazing, but in terms of functionality, I didn't really get the appeal over the other heavy hitters. You had the P90, you had the MP7. I mean, I can't be alone here. I just thought there was other more reliable SMGs in the game. I never got why people flocked to the MP5 the way they did, and since every single lobby had at least 2 MP5 sweats running around, it kind of made me hate the gun even more. If you ask me, I think it was overrated, and overused. I cannot wait to read the comments of this video. And number 6, the MP5 in Black Ops Cold War, same deal. The amount of MP5 spam in Cold War just ended up pushing me away from the gun because there were so many cool SMGs that were perfectly viable, but nobody wanted to use them because the MP5 was a sweaty meta weapon of choice. It also didn't help that it was in the game and it was visually much less cool and satisfying than the 2019 version we just spoke of, which just made the spam all the more annoying to me. I mean, this game had a lot of good SMGs, the Bullfrog, the AK-74U, the Milano, and yet everybody wanted to spam the MP5. No creativity. I mean, when I'm already kind of on the fence about the gameplay, making me deal with everybody spamming the same gun over and over isn't a great way to make me give it more of a chance. Now we arrive at the top 5. Eek. The AK-47 in COD 4. I know this is gonna be a rough one because of how many times I've said in videos that this thing was amazing. Do not get me wrong. It was cool. But looking back at the COD 4 days, I didn't use it that much. In fact, I have many negative memories of the gun, mainly because there were some hidden damage nerfs with it that a lot of people didn't know about. For example, if you put the red dot sight on the AK in this game, you actually got a damage nerf that the game didn't tell you about. Same thing happened with the silencer. You equipped it and the damage was actually nerfed and the game did not tell you that it was nerfed. So basically, unless you were using the AK-47 bare bones, you weren't getting the most out of it, and that just doesn't sit well. I always gravitated toward the other ARs back in COD 4, and the major reason for that was because I always felt the gun was getting more hit markers than it should have been. And then years later, when we had people testing the stuff, I was actually vindicated. The AK-47 actually did have secret damage nerfs on the attachments, and I can't forgive it. At number 4, the Kar 98K in Modern Warfare 2019. I know, I'm not a sniper, never claimed to be a sniper. So this opinion might matter to those who are snipers, but it's my video and my channel, so here we go. I don't really understand why it blew up so much. Bolt-action marksman rifle, had iron sights by default, you had to unlock the scopes, you had to grind kills and XP. Interesting way to do things since that's how snipers work back in World at War, but when you talk to people in the sniping community, they love the gun. And I don't get it. There was a lot of snipers in the game, and thanks to the gunsmith, you could fine-tune basically any of them to fit your sniping style, and yet basically all the quick scopers were using the Kar despite the relatively small one-shot kill range. Why not take something super stronger, or even stronger and kit it out for mobility? And with the time to kill in the game being so quick, weren't you better off using a full auto gun? I don't get it. And number 3. Oh boy. The Ballista in Black Ops 2. I'm gonna keep it real, guys. I was Team DSR. Even after the nerf, I was Team DSR. The Ballista was a great gun, lots of nostalgia value. I just didn't like using it personally as much as I did the DSR. It may have been slower and heavier, but for someone like me who preferred sniping slower and more methodically, once again, it meant I wasn't good and I camped. It fit my play style really good. I'm sure if I was a quick scoper, I would have flocked toward the Ballista. I just couldn't use it over the DSR. In 99% of situations, I preferred the DSR, and there was just no getting past that for me, even after the infamous nerf. And if you thought that one was a hot take, I know, you're finding out the real Jimmy. Here we go. At number 2, the M8A7 in Black Ops 3. I know, every one of you I'm talking to right now loved it. I get it. 4-round burst could more or less get an insta-kill if you pulled the trigger once and landed all your shots, but personally, I wasn't a fan of the 4-round burst rifles in COD because I would much rather just hold down the trigger and blast through a bunch of enemies at once. I know, it's skillless, I get it. The M8A7 also, to me, had some really awkward timing on the burst delay that I couldn't get the hang of, which led to some annoying situations where I would fire a burst and need to pull the trigger again to finish off the enemy, and then they would get away before I could clean them up. And you know, well, I know what you're going to say. Get good, Jimmy. You're right. I mean, you're not supposed to use more than one burst on someone. Haha, that's the point. I get it. I just didn't like it. I didn't think it was very fun. I didn't think it was a very fun way to play Black Ops 3. And since I've already pissed off most of you by this time in this video, might as well end it that way. At number 1, the M8A1 in Black Ops 2. This might get my Call of Duty license revoked. I didn't like it. It was iconic for most of the COD players in the world, and I know most of you have tons of nostalgia with it. And don't get me wrong, I still get nostalgic for the firing sound and the reload effect. I love watching people dominate lobbies with it. But when guns were in my hands, I didn't have fun. If you weren't good at being super precise with bursts and timing your trigger pulls, the M8A1 was never going to work in your favor. And guess what? It wasn't really my play style. I can respect that Treyarch made this gun pretty skill-based and demanding on the user, but at the same time, I just didn't enjoy playing the game with it, and that's what this video is about for me. So yes, the M8 was amazing. It was an amazing rifle in the right hands. Yes, it is a piece of COD history, but no, I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was awkward. I had way more fun using other rifles in the game. I'm sorry, but I'm really not sorry. And there you have it, my friends. Got to know a little bit more about me today. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you soon.